The panzer in the lake. And ladies and gentlemen, we're still in the, I won't say planning and experiment phase. And number one is the hull here. You can barely see it in the water. So there's one thing I had to do to the monogram kit, and I'll show you in just a moment. And if you look real closely, the water, it's going in through the hatches. So on my base, I took the monogram kit and I cut it down. I cut the sides off, get it flat, because once you paint the base basically a darker blue and put water on top, you're only going to see just very essence of the top here. And I do have a lip here, which I wanted it recessed, because once you put the turret on, and if you can see it, the lip is pretty much flush with the open hatches. So when I pour the water will be raised up to the lip here, and it will go through the hatches as well, and it should work out just fine. That's my only thing I really construction-wise I got done on the Panzer of the Lake. So I'm trying to, because once I get it glued down and start adding the detail parts to it, that don't really take too long. But I got to go into the experiment phase, and that is the water. And when I say experiment is, for example, Vallejo, AK, Woodland Scenics, they all have a acrylic water that you can use for dioramas, and I am 97% sure it's nothing more than clear PVA glue. I'm almost certain that's what it is, and I need to do a little bit of an experiment, because I don't have any of their product, but I've been watching a lot of their stuff on YouTube, and I'm almost certain it's this. And I'm going to experiment. I'll show you one of my experiments on this, because I need to tint it, see what it looks like with tinted paint, and some of the diorama effects that you can do with water. You can make ripples separately while adding this, and so anyway, that's the experiment phase. So we're going to try to do that this week and see how that works out. So that's pretty much going to be my water, is the clear PVA glue. So while I experiment and everything, and I do have a model we're going to be building for we're going to be building a ship, and I got to go pick it up. Hopefully the weather holds out, because we're supposed to get snow, and when we get snow in Oklahoma, it pretty much shuts stuff down here. But anyway, we'll see what happens, and I'll show you what the ship is once I have to go get it. So I'll show that once I go get it. But since there ain't a whole lot going on, I want to do a couple things for myself, and shows are coming up. And when I say shows, model shows, and they asked me to be a vendor and participate. And I like to offer some unique stuff at shows, just to give something to get, something different other than plastic model kits. And one thing I wanted to do was I wanted to do a bust, and I was inspired by John Dennett. I don't know if his company's name off the top of my head, but if you look at him at Facebook, he does busts about this size. He does a whole line of them, and I always thought, man, that'd be cool. I'd like to do something similar. But everything's been done, and I wanted to do a Batman one, and Batman's been done over and over again, but I wanted to do one a tad bit different. And I wanted to take, basically make Batman have a helmet with his symbol on it instead of on his chest. I thought that would look pretty darn slick. So I did this. And I'm almost done with him. There was a guy in Florida that made a generic bust, generic figures, resin figures. They were just sculpted anatomy, basic female, male, and bust figures. And he don't sell them anymore. And I have a few of them that I like to tinker with, and I did on this one. And I am not a sculptor, and I know it looks white. That's actually plaster of Paris. I can't sculpt. I am not. It does not come naturally to me. I can sculpt like folds and clothes, pouches, and a few other things, but to sculpt a figure, no, I cannot. So we do a little cheating. So I used plaster of Paris. I rounded off the head here, made a helmet, And I like to use multimedia stuff, and that's when I say that, this is actually craft foam. I cut that out. I'd use styrene, whatever I need to do to make armor, and add it on. And I'm just having a grand old time making them. I made the ears out of epoxy sculpt, and I'm sanding that down to shape, getting all that fixed up. And my next thing is I have to seal it, and because if you ever mold foam, it's kind of porous, and you can see the little, it looks like you got a bunch of air bubbles. So I'm going to still I gotta clean him up just a little bit more. I may add a little more detail on him, especially around here on his front. I'm going to make a basically like a biker scout on the front of his helmet, on a biker scout helmet. I'm going to do something like that, a little detail on there. But anyway, I think he's pretty darn sis. So I'm going to, once I get him done and sealed and everything, I need to shoot some primer on him. It's also why I wanted to show him, so you won't see the pink anymore. And I'm going to get him finished up, get him molded, and he will be available at shows and probably private messages. I really don't get into the kit business anymore. I do miss it, but I notice a lot of everyone doesn't want conversion kits. They really want, they want the files to 3D print them, which I understand that. But anyway, so we're going to do a couple busts, and there's a couple other ones I want to do that have been in my head for a while, and I've never seen kits of them before. So that's what I am doing right now. But anyway, that's what I got going on today. I haven't thought of a name for my Mr. Bat Bust here, but anyway, we're working on him, and we're going to go to the experiment phase and try to work out how to do water. So that's what I got going on today, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.